Scamp groupers are members of the sea bass family, which has over 400 species. The major area for fishing for the scamp grouper extends from offshore reefs of North Carolina to Florida and the Gulf of Mexico. They are found generally offshore in 100 feet of water or more, around deep banks, ledges, and drop-offs. It has a color of deep tan or chocolate brown with dark markings. The scamp grouper, ranging in the 8 to 10 pound size, makes for an excellent texture of meat and flavor. The average weight is about 5 pounds. Several over 20 pounds are taken by anglers. The world record is 29 pounds. Okay, now we're going to show you how to clean a scamp grouper. This can be scaled or not scaled in cleaning. It's a little easier to have it scaled so your knife doesn't jump along the edge when you're cutting with the round part of your blade. What we want to do is we want to pick up this fin, take your knife, cut very close, and cut back to the head. Cut up in a V. Turn it over. Come back in the same angle in a V. Come back up toward the head. Once you've cut through, just turn it up, and it's real easy. Just kind of hold it and break it back. Break that bone a little bit if you hadn't cut all the way through. If you notice, we cut up in there, got as much meat as possible. Now, a lot of people take these heads, they like to stew it. They'll stew them down, take the cheekbone out of the larger grouper. It's very tender. And the throat of this grouper boiled down. There's a lot of meat here. They take that, they stew it down, and remove the meat. It's very, very good. And now we're going to show you, after we cut the head off of this grouper, how to take the fillet off. It's just like just about any other fish you'll clean. 99% of your fish have the same bone structure. It's just a little different here and there. But the basic procedure is the same on all fish. Whether it's a small freshwater brim, a large salmon, a grouper, it's just the same. We're going to take it off the backbone. We're going to show you the differences in how it's maybe a heavier bone, and we're going to end up skinning it for you to take the fillet off. Because you eat the grouper without the skin, definitely. Now we're going to start to take the fillet off of the backbone. Place your left hand down. Take the curved edge of your knife, you place it right above the anal fin. You take your index finger and you put it on the guard. You draw down, applying pressure. You want to be able to feel that knife rubbing the bone, not cutting flesh. You want to be cutting the flesh away from the bone. Come through it, come to the center of the vertebrae. And you hold back with your left hand, cut down through the rib cage. Then you want to come back down on the other side of the vertebrae on about a 60-degree angle with your curved part of your knife. Come right on through. Groupers are real easy to clean because there's a good firm fillet. Pull through the tail. Then what you want to do, turn your knife, your fish around, turn your knife up. Cut with the curved part of the knife. While applying pressure with your left hand, as you can see, the flesh will just roll away from the backbone. You got your fillet. Notice how clean and close we got it, because we didn't ride that vertebrae. We left that meat over here, not over here. Okay, now we're going to take the other half off of this grouper. Press down on your left hand. Cut through the anal fin. Pull it around. Slide it away. Press down, because you want to interlock the dorsal fin with the backbone of the vertebrae. You want those two bones to interlock so the knife will slide over. You press down with your left hand and just cut on in like you may be filleting a flounder. Come right on back to the tail. Just ride that knife right along the edge of the vertebrae. Since we're coming in on the other side, we come to the top of it, then we ride down on an angle till we come all the way through the tail. Okay, now after you've done that with a heavier fish bone like on the grouper, you can pick the tail up and tap it loose. It cuts a little smoother. Like again, we have a nice smooth vertebrae. See how close it is. We want to keep the meat on the fillet. All right, now I'm going to show you how to remove these rib bones. We do just like we did on every other fish. They're a little larger, be a little bit more cutting involved. You want to cut a little deeper. Take your hand, press it up here where you can feel it, turn your blade upward beneath the bone and the flesh, between the two and run it right on through. Then you turn it up, come back with that curved edge of the knife again, rub back against the flesh. You can kind of hold these now with your finger a little better than other fish and kind of just rub that knife blade along the edge where you can feel yourself touching the bone. Your knife doesn't have to be as sharp as some people think. You get it too sharp, you'll actually cut into the fish and you will break a bone. Now after we scored it on the outside, we take again, we hold it with our thumb on the left hand, we take our thumb and our knife as a pair of pliers, and we just pull them out. Come right on out, and all you have is just those few little bones there. Now we just have one more small set of bones, just like in all your other fish. Got a few sets that run right down in here. You just take, cut down on one side. You can feel them with your finger. Open that up, come back down on the other side. And when you come away, hold that fish again with your left hand. Use those pair of pliers with your finger and your knife. Just pull straight back. That's the other set of bones removed that go back down to the flesh on the other angle. Now it's completely filleted. There aren't any bones at all in it. Okay, after we remove the interior bones and the rib cage bones, we want to come in, we want to remove these few little bones. These bones go back in the other side like you saw me take out earlier. We want to take a curved blade knife like this if we can, and we can skin it. But it's much easier to stay away from your skinner knife, and you want to come in with a longer, flatter blade knife like this, and it makes it a little easier to draw the knife back and forth. Now, like I showed you earlier, you start on the tail, you hold your tip of your flesh with your fingers, and once you get started, you just take this flat edge knife and you work it back on a seesaw motion, kind of pulling the tail to you and the knife away, and then you get the skin coming off just as smooth as you can possibly get it. We turn this fillet over, we'll show you how pretty that came out. That is simply beautiful. Now we've got it ready for our recipe that we're going to show you later for the grouper fillet.